Work session for the Norfolk City Council will now commence. Mr. Roberts, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of City Council. I'll give you a brief overview of the proposed agenda for this afternoon's work session meeting. In the first presentation, Brad Smith, City Auditor, will provide the proposed annual audit plan. Following that, we will have a hurricane season overview, the 2025 hurricane season briefing provided by Daniel Hudson, Director of Office of Emergency Management. He'll provide some safety tips and how to stay connected and engaged. That presentation will be followed by the city planning update. Bobby Tahan, Planning Director, will provide the monthly update on items coming to you for a vote from the Planning Commission. Following that, we have a few items that require consideration of a closed session motion. So without modifications, amendments, or objections, I would like to ask if Brad Smith can take the podium.
Before you come, Mr. report a resolution permitting Councilwoman Courtney Doyle to participate remotely in today's work session.
Resolution approving participation in electronic communication means by Councilwoman Courtney R. Doyle in the Norfolk City Council meeting on June 10, 2025. Adopt the resolution. Mr. Clanton?
Aye.
Mrs. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. McGee?
Aye.
Mr. Page?
Aye.
Mr. Smeagol?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Dr. Alexander?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, City Council, City Manager. Thank you for the opportunity to present the proposed 2026 audit plan. Today I will be discussing the purpose and development of the annual work plan, the audit phases, proposed audits and follow-up reviews, and other ongoing projects. The purpose of the annual work plan. This establishes the framework for audits and to be conducted. It provides guides and audits, activities, and workflows of the city auditor's work. Outlines audit focus for a 12-month period. Now, this plan must be flexible and is subject to change based on unanticipated high-risk priorities, inquiries, or other issues that may come up. Sources used to develop the audit plan. Audit leads, which include prior audits, city financial audit, and our citizens. Internal leads would be city auditor staff and previous audit plans. Hotline leads, inquiries, investigations, which would come from our fraud, waste, and abuse hotline. External leads, audits performed by other localities or state and federal agencies. City council, council priorities or special requests, and management concerns, city administration, city departments, and other agencies. And there are 3 phases in the audit. We have a planning phase, we have our fieldwork or detailed testing phase, and reporting phase. During planning, we will have an interest conference, we perform walkthroughs of processes, we interview staff, and then we establish our test objectives. Based on these test objectives, that moves us to our fieldwork testing phase where we gather and evaluate evidence and we develop our findings. From there, we go to our reporting phase, which we prepare a draft report. We have an exit conference, and then we issue our final report. These are the proposed fiscal year 2026 audits. We have 4 audits already in progress. Our traffic safety program, which is in report phase, towing operations, police overtime, and street sweeping. They're all in our planning phase. And new audits proposed for fiscal year 2026 are citywide vehicle fuel card, grants compliance, fire rescue medication process, retirement payment process, and follow-up reviews of audit recommendations. Other projects for fiscal year 2026 include inquiries and investigations, which is our fraud, waste, and abuse hotline, review citywide expenditures, missing lost stolen property database, review credit card transactions, administration of city council special request, cash counts, and other city agency requests. And do I have any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Smith? Yes, Mr. Smigiel?
This is the first time I get to ask you this question. Do you have everything you need in your office to conduct all the audits that are needed? And this includes staffing, equipment, and other materials. And this is your moment. There is a right answer to this.
Brad, the answer is, Mr. Smigiel, I have everything I need.
Councilman Smigiel, I have everything I need.
If there is additional things that you come up that you need, can you please let us know?
I will, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions questions on his work? And Brad, seriously, when Mr. Smigiel always asks that question to our appointees, and but if there's really something that you actually need to be more effective and accomplishing work, do ask your requests.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Johnson?
I just wanted to say thank you, Auditor Smith, because you and your team are boots on the ground. There is nothing that the council can ask for a citizen, and going out to the Civic League, being visible, to getting to know the citizens, and allowing them to ask questions, because often they don't know what you do. So just being in that space, coming to our task force meeting with Lindenwood, Arcadites, Huntersville, and presenting, it was a good partnership that evening. So thank you so very much, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr.
I just want to ditto a thank you. Thank you for your professionalism, all of the information that you help us get clear on how we must move forward. Just really appreciate your hard work.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Smith, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Roberts?
Mayor, I'll call up Daniel Hudson, Director of the Office of Emergency Management, for the presentation.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, Mr. Manager, and Deputy City Managers. Thank you so much for having me today. For those who may not know me, my name is Daniel Hudson. I serve as the Director of the Office of Emergency Management. With the 2025 hurricane season now underway, I would like to provide a high-level overview of this year's forecast, what it means for Norfolk, and most importantly, what we've done and continue to do to make sure our city is prepared. From our updated emergency plans and community outreach efforts to shelter readiness and new tools for communication, this presentation will walk you through our preparedness posture and how we're working to protect our residents, infrastructure, and critical services. So let's begin with the official hurricane season overview. NOAA is predicting a 60% chance of an above-average hurricane season, with 13 to 19 named storms. 6 to 10 of those are hurricanes. 3 to 5 are major hurricanes expected. They have a 70% confidence in this forecast. So compared to last year, the actual storms we had in 2024 were 18 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. So as you can see, it's a little bit downgraded from last year's hurricane season, but just for your record, a normal season consists of about 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. So as you can see, we're right on the cusp of it being a normal hurricane season or just slightly above. So for your information, the storm classifications are tropical depression. The maximum sustained winds are up to 38 miles per hour. A tropical storm winds have 39 to 73 mile per hour winds. Hurricane winds are 74 mile per hour or higher. And major hurricanes, which are categories 3, 4, and 5, they have winds of 111 mile per hour or greater. So why do we have this heightened seasoned outlook? Well, just like last year, we have warmer than average ocean temperatures, and it's expected to fuel the storm formation. This year is a little bit different from last year. We're inside of a ENSO neutral condition, which doesn't mean that it means that it's neither for or against any formation of storms, but they are thinking about the possibility of it switching over to a La Nina later in the season, which tends to support more frequent and intense storms. They are also monitoring an increased tropical wave activity off the African coast. And also there's less wind shear, allowing storms to strengthen easier. But as we all know in this room, it only takes one storm to be a major impact in Norfolk. So we're preparing for everything. So our operational improvements that we have with the National Weather Service and NOAA, we are excited about that NOAA can now issue potential tropical cyclone products up to 72 hours in advance of tropical storm force winds that are reaching land, giving us time to prepare. Last year, it was only up to 48 hours, so we get additional time to be able to prepare. Model upgrades and new forecasting products are now offering 2 to 3 weeks notice on areas that may be favorable for storm formation, even if specific tracks aren't known yet. So this underscores the importance of us planning early and preparing in continued coordination across departments and the public. So what does this mean for Norfolk? The forecast for a busy season is an important reminder for our citizens and businesses to pause and prepare now before the storm is on the horizon. For our city departments, we plan and train year-round to manage impacts from any storm, hazard, or threat. Our core focus is ensuring community lifelines remain operational before, during, and after an incident, and those include safety and security, health and medical, food, water, sheltering, energy, communications, transportation, and hazardous materials. So our key messages to our public is even a close call or storm remnant can cause serious local impacts that we've seen in years past. Heavy rain, tornadoes, high winds, and flooding can occur at any phase of the storm. So our preparedness tips for our residents is ensure you have the proper insurance coverage for your home. Review it. Contact your insurance company to make sure. Identify a safe inland location where you can go if you must evacuate or can't return to a storm. Being prepared is key, and we want you to stay connected. Know how you'll get official updates by signing up for Norfolk Alert, looking out for local media updates, a NOAA radio, or even the city's website and social media. Our shared resilience depends on both government readiness and public preparations. So how are we preparing? These are our efforts. In addition to the annual citywide exercises, emergency management has taken the proactive steps to prepare Norfolk for the 2025 hurricane season. We've distributed hurricane evacuation guides to community members. We've conducted Civic League and business community preparedness presentations. We're hosting Hurricane Preparedness Night at Harbor Park on June 24th. We have purchased 2 mobile Starlink dishes to enhance emergency connectivity in the event cell service or internet is impacted. We're installing 2 new weather stations to improve real-time data for decision-making in the Emergency Operations Center. We've acquired 10 Pocket Talk devices to support multilingual communication during emergencies and public outreach, enabling real-time translation in over 80 languages to better serve Norfolk's diverse community. And we're holding bi-monthly emergency action plan trainings with Department Emergency Coordinators to ensure they are prepared to respond and to assist. So we've also finalized the new Emergency Operations Handbook this year, and this is to strengthen coordination across departments and in emergencies and planned events. Some of the key highlights in the Emergency Operations Handbook is it defines the EOC structure, roles, and response processes to support a unified, effective response. It's aligned with the Incident Command System and the National Incident Management System, ensuring the EOC can scale up or down depending on the size of the event. It clarifies department director responsibilities, including policy input, resource coordination, and providing situational updates to leadership. It includes checklists and standardized procedures such as activation criteria, meeting agendas, and documentation templates. It supports continuity of operations and cost recovery, especially with FEMA documentation and interdepartmental coordination. This is a living document reviewed annually and updated based upon lessons learned and from real incidents and exercises. This handbook is the foundational tool for ensuring that when we activate our Emergency Operations Center, every team member knows their role, what to expect, and how to coordinate a coordinated citywide response. We are very excited to share with you that we have a full-scale shelter exercise coming up at Norview High School on June 24th from 8:30 to 12. The purpose of this full-scale shelter exercise is to test Norfolk's emergency sheltering and evacuation procedures ahead of the peak hurricane season. So it's two components. The first component is the evacuation component, where we're going to have volunteers stationed at 2 downtown area communities where they'll be transported to Norview High School to simulate a pre-disaster evacuation and shelter intake process. Some of our key partners involved in this shelter exercise are Norfolk Fire Rescue, Norfolk Public Schools Transportation, Norfolk Public Health, Human Services, Human Resources, Norfolk CERT, American Red Cross, and Hampton Roads Transit. Our exercise objectives is to test our shelter registration using merit system. We're also going to deploy medical triage. We're going to set up 20 of our beds. We're going to set up our pet sheltering. And we're going to utilize our multilingual access, the Pocket Talk tool I discussed. We also are going to validate EOC communications and real-time coordination by deploying our Starlink. And we are going to identify gaps and redefine operational readiness for future emergencies. This exercise provides an invaluable opportunity to strengthen our collective capabilities in a controlled and real-world scenario. So we are also very excited to tell you about this. Thank you, Ms. Johnson and Mr. Rogers, for helping us with this. We are partnering with local churches to strengthen neighborhood resilience. We've launched a new outreach initiative focused on building resilience at a neighborhood level by partnering with smaller local churches across Norfolk. The first pilot church is First United Presbyterian Church, which is identified as our first partner in this effort. Why it matters? Smaller churches are trusted community anchors, particularly in underserved neighborhoods. They are uniquely positioned to serve as emergency management hubs, providing vital preparedness information and resources directly to residents. So our program components, we are going to be distributing preparedness brochures to congregational members. We're going to be attending church events to engage residents and to answer questions. And we are going to help them identify evacuation zones and to learn how to be prepared and have a plan. And we are going to maintain this ongoing coordination with church leadership to enhance local preparedness. This is a scalable model. Although we have one now, we plan to invite additional churches over the coming year, forming a citywide network of preparedness partners. This initiative helps empower residents, build trust, and ensure equitable access to emergency planning resources throughout Norfolk. This is a strategic investment in community-level resilience, meeting people where they are through the institution they already trust. So this slide shows you how emergency management operates when a storm is on the horizon. The key message is that we start early, tracking the storm up to 10 days out, and we scale up operations based upon the storm's projected impact. As we move closer to the event, we start planning meetings, coordinate resource staging, and communicate public safety messages across all of our platforms. If necessary, we'll help make critical decisions like evacuation orders and shelter openings several days in advance. After the storm, our priority is damage assessment and restoring key services, what FEMA calls community lifelines, which I discussed earlier. The most important thing you can do is stay informed through our channels and help us share accurate, timely updates with our residents. This could mean sharing social media posts or connecting with your community residents with emergency management if they have any questions. Next, one of the most important things we want our Norfolk residents to do is to know what their hurricane evacuation zone is. When we call for an evacuation, we have hurricane evacuation zones A, B, and C. And they were created to streamline evacuation planning and ensure we move the most at-risk populations first. So all of Norfolk falls under evacuation zone A, B, and C. During an evacuation, zones are called in priority order. If you're in zone A and zone A is advised to evacuate, that means you need to go. Even if the weather still looks calm, this helps prevent congestion and confusion. To help residents remember their zone, we have magnets that can be placed in their refrigerator that note what zone they live in. We distribute these magnets at community events, civic league meetings, and through our outreach partners. These magnets are a simple, effective way to help evacuation zone information be visible in every home. If someone doesn't know their zone, they can visit knowyourzoneva.org and enter their address and get instant results, or contact Norfolk Emergency Management, and we'd be happy to send them a magnet. Next, we want to ensure timely and accurate information, which saves lives during an emergency. That's why we use multiple systems to get critical messages out to the public. First is our wireless emergency alerts, our WEA. These are short, loud alerts you receive on your phone, like an Amber Alert or a severe weather warning. We can use WEAs to notify residents in urgent threats, such as a hurricane evacuation order. We can also generate geo-targeted WEA messages. That means we can send alerts only to the people in the impacted area, just like Zone A, B, and C, not just citywide. To ensure our systems are working properly, we conduct monthly WEA tests. These help validate our systems and ensure residents are receiving the messages as expected. We also use Norfolk Alert, an opt-in emergency notification system. It allows us to send alerts via text, email, and phone calls. We encourage everyone, especially community leaders like yourself, to sign up at norfolk.gov/alert and help spread the word in your neighborhoods and networks. The goal is simple: to make sure people get the right message at the right time, no matter where they are. Finally, all of Norfolk's emergency plans are available for public's view, download, and share at norfolk.gov/emergency. Transparency is important to us, and we want community members, businesses, and partners to understand the city's plan, how we plan for, respond to, and recover from emergencies. These plans are not static. They are reviewed, evaluated, updated routinely based upon lessons learned from real-world events, exercises, and changes in guidance and law. In 2023, our basic emergency operations plan and administrative annexes were formally adopted by the City Council, a significant milestone that formalizes our approach and aligns with state and federal standards. That plan is reviewed annually and formally updated every 4 years for readoption by council, keeping us accountable and current. We encourage residents, civic league members, and local organizations to visit our website to explore our plans. The better our community understands the structure and intent of emergency planning, the more resilient we all become. So thank you for your time and attention today, and more importantly, thank you for your continued support in emergency management, Ms. Johnson and the rest of City Council. Preparedness is a shared responsibility, and your role as city leaders is essential. Whether it's helping residents understand their evacuation zone, sharing Norfolk Alert sign-up information, or just asking, have you got a plan? Your voice matters. Our goal in emergency management is simple: protect lives, property, and critical services by being ready before the storm arrives and recovering stronger after it passes. As always, we're here to support you, your districts, and your residents. If you ever have any questions or want materials for outreach or need help planning an event, we're just a phone call away. Let's keep working together to make Norfolk prepared, more resilient, and connected. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Any questions? All right, I see Mr. Clanton and Ms. Johnson and Mr. Smith.
I can let Mamie go first since she got a special shout out. Would you like to go first?
Yes.
I'll let you go first and then I'll go after you.
So, Mr. Mayor, and to my colleagues, and my city manager, I want to say thank you so very much. I know over the years you've heard me talk about hubs, hubs. And what that means is that every community throughout the entire city can have accessible resources right in their neighborhood. And it starts with Daniel. And he met with me, and I gave him this long list of what we could possibly do with the churches. We could use the churches more. And what I found is there are churches throughout all of our wards that connect. Like for Councilman Smeagol and Vice Mayor Martin, Courtney and I, when we get to Little Creek Road, we all are one ward because we intertwine there. And there are a couple of churches there that have the possibility of being hubs. So I just want to say, and Mr. Rogers, he's heard me say, hubs, and boots on the ground. And so we're at this point, how important it is that our citizens have the accessibility and the resources that they need in their community. And Daniel has listened to me. He and his team members, we attended classes, VCU that were offered at VCU, and we learned a great deal. And I will conclude with this, Mr. Manager, if you think that your budget book is big, his book is bigger. I mean, it's huge. So thank you so very much, and thank you to all of my colleagues and Team Norfolk for your help.
Okay, Mr. Clanton, then Mr. Smeagol.
Okay, great. I gave up my spot for her.
Well, actually, you called my name out, but I was allowing your seniority to go. Daniel, thank you. I've got my magnet at home, and I appreciate that. And I've also attended the VMLA, the sessions that we've had there. I did have a question, if you could just elaborate a little bit more for me. You said the June 24th, we're going to have the full-scale shelter evacuation exercise, but then I heard you say test shelter registration merit system. Yeah, can you explain and elaborate a little bit more on what that is?
So the Merit System is an online tool. It's an app that is downloaded on an iPhone or a tablet, and when people come into the shelter, there's questions that are asked, and what it does is it goes into a database and can be shared with the Virginia Department of Emergency Management as a regional tool. So all of the localities here in the Hampton Roads region have access to the Merit System, and it allows us to be on the same page of understanding how many people we have in our shelters at any given time so we can send resources to them. So the Merit System has been adopted here in the last several years, but we are going to formally test that Merit System to make sure it works in order.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Smeagol.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Now, you asked about snow last year. We had lots of snow this year.
I like your glasses, by the way. You should put them back on. They're cool. So just, I don't want to be the predictor of any of this, but in the event that we have a major storm that has a lot of debris, have you identified the drop-off locations now for where people can bring debris? That has been an issue. That was an issue all the way back in Isabel. We haven't had any storms at that level since then that we've had that much debris. But I think just things have changed, particularly in Ocean View. Some of the properties that we were using have been developed. So just making sure we know where there'll be a place to drop off debris, and then Public Works would handle that. And not waiting till an event to happen, just identifying that now.
And that's identified in the Public Works debris management plan. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then the second thing is about whether it's a minor storm, a nor'easter, a minor summer storm, on trash days, how we can alert people a little bit faster to pull their cans in before flooding occurs in those neighborhoods where the cans are. And then we're not seeing garbage cans and garbage floating down the street. There's been a lot of confusion about that, how we get that out to the public, that we're just gonna reschedule that pickup, but we've allowed the garbage cans to stay out and not alerted people to pull them in before it becomes a health hazard. Just growing up in Ocean View, I used to, when the roads flooded, I used to swim in the flooded roads. I mean, that's the things the kids did. They went out in the neighborhood and they ride their bikes through it, and just not being in there with possible contamination from garbage cans and other things. I know there still could be from the stormwater pipes, but it would be a little bit healthier. So I just want to make sure that we've got that under control. Like, when do we make that decision that we've got a possible flooding event, and that you shouldn't put your trash cans out in that area? We're going to reschedule your pickup right away, Friday or Saturday, whatever, for that.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, sir. So what we'll do is
We'll continue to coordinate with Kelly and her team regarding messaging and Norfolk Cares. So if we do see something like a community is going to be impacted by flooding, we will most certainly coordinate with them so they can put out messaging through the Joint Information Center. Yes, sir. I appreciate that response.
Yeah.
We'll note that.
Good. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. Appreciate you.
Next up is the planning update. Avi Tahan will provide the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of City Council. I have 3 items to update the council that they will hear and tentatively scheduled for their meeting in 2 weeks. The first item is Rip Rap Brewing Company for a conditional use permit. This is at 114 East 25th Street. It's an existing brewery now, the production of craft beverages, and this is to allow an existing brewery under new ownership to continue to operate with live entertainment. Here's the existing floor plan for the site. The site did used to have an outdoor dining area along 25th Street. The applicant is proposing to utilize that area as only standing room. In order to not conflict with any entrances, there is a condition that is proposed by the Planning Commission to not allow any smoking in that outdoor area, which is by the entrance of the building. Here are the hours of operation of the site. Please note that this is an existing brewery, and so the 24 hours a day operation is for the brewery operation itself. The hours of entertainment and for the sale of alcoholic beverages on and off premise have been altered to be unified for 7 days a week at 10 a.m. until 10 p.m., which is a reduction in the time that was previously approved. They continue to have an occupancy of 114, and the entertainment proposed is the same as what was previously approved for the previous owners. By a vote of 6-0, the Planning Commission recommended approval. Again, the operations are similar to the previously approved one with reduced hours. There is a letter of support from the Park Place Civic League, and because this is a new owner and operator, there is a 2-year expiration on this conditional use permit. The next item are 2 items that need to move together by Dennis Woodbury and BLW Plus LLC for a conditional rezoning and a conditional use permit at 1485 Johnston's Road. This is near the intersection of Johnston's and Military Highway. The existing conditions are a child daycare center, and the request is to allow for the construction of 7 townhouse-style multifamily units and to continue the operations of the child daycare center. The future land use map calls this area out as institutional because of the existing child daycare use that's on the site. However, the multifamily use that is proposed in the rezoning is similar to the existing multifamily in the surrounding area. The applicant is proposing to rezone from institutional to conditional multifamily neighborhood scale, and in doing that, they are requesting a conditional use permit for the child daycare center, which is permitted by conditional use permit in the multifamily neighborhood scale. That conditional use permit will allow them to continue to operate the child daycare center. Yeah. Here's the site from street view. It did operate it previously as a church. It is a child daycare center now. The area to the right is where the proposed multifamily development would go.
Excuse me, not proposed condos, but it's proposed family?
Multifamily.
Apartments?
It is townhouse-style multifamily development. So the applicant had noted that they plan on selling them fee simple or selling them as condos, but again, this would just be, we can't control that, so this would just be for multifamily.
If you wanted to control it and it requires a CUP, you could.
To regulate just the condominiums.
Yes, I just don't know what you're saying is coming.
Okay. Here's the proposed site plan. So on the right-hand side here is the existing child daycare center that's on the site. And on the left side is what is proposed by the applicant. Again, it's seven multifamily units that are built in a townhouse style. And so they'll be facing the interior drive aisle with parking provided for each of the units. The applicant has noted that they do plan on trying to sell these as condominiums. By a vote of 6-0, the Planning Commission recommends approval of the conditional rezoning and the conditional use permit. The zoning to conditional multifamily neighborhood scale is similar in density to the adjacent planned use development, and the conditional use permit allows for the continuation of the existing child daycare center. Last on the update is a conditional use permit for a short-term rental by Abel Cortez at 1001 and 1003 35th Street. This is one property that just happens to have two different parcels associated with it. The applicant is currently operating legally as a homestay, where this is their primary resident and they are using it as a short-term rental homestay. But the applicant is requesting to obtain a conditional use permit to operate this as a vacation rental where this no longer has to be their primary residence. Here's a picture of the site. It's an existing single-family home with 3 bedrooms. Here's a photo of the neighborhood analysis. As you can see, there is a limited number of short-term rentals that operate within this vicinity. By a vote of 5-1, the City Planning Commission does recommend approval. There is a 2-year expiration on all first-time short-term rentals, and the applicant met with the Park Place Civic League, where they voted to remain neutral on all short-term rental requests. There was an email of opposition from an adjacent resident with a speaker in opposition at the public hearing. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Any question by Ms. Johnson?
Going back to the 7 townhomes.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it understood that they are to be for sale?
The applicant has noted that they plan on selling it, but there is no condition requiring it to be for sale.
So your intent is that they would sell, but it also could be rented?
Yes, there's nothing prohibiting the rental of the property.
If you're not really the property manager, they would sell and then somebody could rent it.
Correct.
Right. They're not actively marketing them as apartments or rentals, and then, which is why they might condo in them, so that there has to be a condo type of association, I assume.
Yes.
That would regulate what happens with the 7 units.
Yes, that is correct. There's a stormwater management facility that will have to be built, which will also have to be maintained. So again, they don't plan on maintaining ownership. That's how they presented this to us, but there's nothing in either their proffers or the conditions that would prohibit them from either renting them out or selling them as condominiums.
So basically, they own the property, they want to build on the property, sell what's there. And depending on how things go, that will determine whether they become rental or for sale.
We can obtain that additional information from the applicant to share with the council.
Please do.
Yes.
I just want to make sure, Mr. Mayor, if you can, on the Park Place short-term rental, did I understand to see that there was opposition from one of the adjacent residents? Is that what I heard?
Yes, that is correct.
And that the Civic League remained neutral?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Page.
All right. A couple of quick things. How you doing today, Mr. Tang?
Good, sir. How are you?
Thanks for all your responsiveness. So someone have a home, if they have a homestead, short-term rental, they don't need a CUP as long as they're living in the residences?
In certain locations, yes. So this one, this is operating currently as a homestay because this is their primary residence. Yes, sir.
Because we have them all over the city
Yes, sir.
without CUPs. I'm pretty sure you're aware
Yes,
of
sir.
that. Okay. But the question that you inspired off of your presentation, which was great as all of them are, right now in our housing crisis, where a lot of poor folk not having a place to live, I think that our policy for boarding houses is 4 to a house. Am I correct with that, or can you go up higher than 4?
So in order to qualify as a single-family residence, you can have up to 4 unrelated people. There are other allowances for additional people based on state law requirements for group homes or other types of uses.
Let's say it's not a group home, just people need a room, and you have a house that has 8 rooms, but our policy says 4. So if you had more than 4, you would be in violation right now.
Yes, sir.
But we have houses that could take on more, so we need to begin some research on the process to see what we could do to allow for more under the state code and our city code, particularly in some of our communities where people are having a hard time finding somewhere to live. And we have a lot of people in the real estate industry that are focused on that line of business that might be very helpful, and that's designing a policy that would fit today's climate and the issues that we have. So I just want to go on record for stating that out loud. Want Councilman Clanton and Super Ward 6 over here together with this new housing committee to take some notes and see what we could do to work on that, to make sure that we have room for everybody. All right, thank you.
Continue.
I'm done, sir.
Done?
I'm complete, yes, sir.
You have no more?
No, sir.
Okay. Want some more? All right, thank you, Bobby.
That's all we have. We have a motion for closed session.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bowles.
I move that members of the council assemble informally in closed meeting on June 10, 2025 at 4:17 p.m. 10th floor conference room of the City Hall building in the city of Norfolk for the purposes which are set out in clauses 3, 3, and 8 of subsection A of section 2.2-3711 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act as amended. Clause 3, discussion of the acquisition of real property in Ward 5 where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position of the public body. Clause 3, discussion of the disposition of real property in Ward 3 where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position of the public body. Clause 8, consultation with legal counsel regarding a docket matter which requires legal advice. Mr. Clanton. Aye. Mrs. Doyle.
Aye.
Mrs. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. McGee.
Aye.
Mr. Page.
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel. Aye. Mr. Thomas. Dr. Alexander.
Aye.
We're in closed, sir.
Good.